Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, yai da bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bim
I thought it was a sound system. It's just the rain. Good Shabbos, everyone. For those online, tell us where you're watching from and wish each other a Shabbat Shalom. For those here together, we didn't greet yet, did we? Okay, because I was greeting some individually and not paying attention. I don't know. Dean, it's 1:30? So, Dean and I just got home from Israel, and so we're a little tired. But feeling good to be here, bring some of the joy of what we experienced back to Temple. So, as we always do, it's good to become a community. So find someone you're sitting near, we may or may not know. Introduce yourself to them. Wish them a good Shabbos.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam brit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam כששת ימים עשה אדוני עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
As Israel has preserved the Sabbath, so the Sabbath has preserved Israel. That's the prayer, the words Cantor just sang. The reminder of what this one day can do for us in the midst of the busyness and hecticness of our lives. What we do when we set aside a little bit of time to gain perspective, to look within, to sense what most matters in our lives, in our world, and what we create together. You know, for us, when every day can sort of be the same, it's a very intentional thing to make this day, this time, Shabbat. as opposed to, as I referenced, what Dean and I just experienced, where the world sort of stops when you're in Israel as everyone gets ready for Shabbat. From the simplest of things, that every store in Jerusalem at 4 o'clock in the afternoon starts to close and you can't go find a place to change any money when you're out for an afternoon run, so you have to be creative, to the realities of people walking on the street, going home after work and saying Shabbat Shalom to one another, to remind yourself of that, to being in this unique world where everyone around sort of celebrates time, counts time the same way. Maybe for us, it could be even more special because it's truly intentional. It's a way to look at the world, to look at our lives, that we all planned on coming here now or turning on our TVs or our computers and logging on at this moment to services to say, I need this time, I need this moment. Maybe it's to connect with people, maybe it's to connect with myself, maybe to connect with memory, maybe to celebrate a little bit, to honor something that's over on the horizon. But more than anything, just to give ourselves a moment, peacefulness, of calm. So maybe in this moment right now, as we set that tone, maybe close your eyes and take a deep breath. Breathe in God's gift to each and every one of us, and breathe out our gift to this world. To think of the gifts that we receive, the kindness may be shared by one, by another, the blessings we find in our world. A day we're told to be filled with rain, but suddenly at 3:30 the sun appears. It sort of felt a little bit like spring. Reminders of us noticing, distinguishing that which changes in our lives and our world. Grass becoming a little more green and buds appearing on trees. Things we notice and connect with. The simplicity of the sound of others breathing, of whispering, of children being happy. What we notice when we give ourselves Shabbat. It connects us. It keeps us together. It keeps us as a community and as a people. The Shamru, we protect this day. We protect our time. We make it a blessing in our lives. So as we come together with our prayers, with our songs, so we come together as a community. Our traditional traditional. Our CAYA services, these services that we do often on Fridays, we say, come as you are, casual, relaxed. We can use a prayer book if we want, or we can just hum along, it's okay. If you want to use the prayer book, we begin with the call to worship as we rise, and we happen to be somewhere around page 16 or 18 or something like that. If you're online and you want the prayer book, it's available on that link to the website. 20 is the page for the Baruch Hu. But again, we just sing and enjoy our Shabbat.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ ארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Next prayer that we join together are the words of the Hashkivenu. It's a prayer that the rabbis wrote, believing that as we went to sleep each night, that our soul departed from our body, and that God would watch over it, protect it, strengthen it, and that tomorrow morning we hoped, we prayed that we would wake up to life renewed, refreshed. At the end of that prayer, we asked that God spread over us a Sukkat Shalom, a shelter of peace. And that word shalom, that shelter of peace, is a great idea to resonate within, to meditate on. And so I invite you to close your eyes again just for a moment and to picture in your mind a Sukkat Shalom, a shelter of peace. Say the word to yourself, Shalom, peace. Shalom, peace. Shalom. We often translate that word as peace, but really it means wholeness, something that's complete. Which is why when something's complete, whole, then oftentimes we find peace within it as well. In your mind, as you picture a shelter of peace, picture what that is for you. Your personal shelter of peace, where things are complete, things are whole. Conversations that need to be finished, discussions, work, and all those things have been completed. No weight upon your shoulders. Nothing that you're worrying about. Just the ability to be present. To be present in that moment. Sukkat Shalom. A shelter of wholeness. For you, what does it take to create that image that's in your mind? As we pray to God to help create that, we think as well how we can partner with God to make that vision become a reality. Sukkat Shalom, a shelter of peace.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu Sukkat shlomecha l'chaim u'shalom me'ata v'yad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. לשלום ועמיתנו מלכנו לחיים.
And in preparation for the Amidah, we rise together now and we take a moment for our own private meditations. Now, following the prayers of our hearts, the idea that we have this fixed prayer that was a moment for our prayer of intention. That nothing was written for us because we know that each one of us comes into this sanctuary with different needs, different thoughts, different things in our hearts that we want to convey and talk to God about. So we take a moment for that now, for that private conversation. Please pray silently.
The thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering the song in the silence of the night. And eternity utters the day, and eternity utters a day. Thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind. There is a song on the wind, and joy in the trees, and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering the song in the silence of the night, in the silence of the night. And eternity utters a day, and eternity utters the day. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Ve'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Konei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
In the midst of our prayers, as we continue standing, we think of those in need of healing and strength, coming together as a community and bringing our prayers to think of those who truly we want to be thinking of, those in need. As we share our prayers and read names, though, does it connect us one to the other? So is it sharing with those as we hear names of people we want to reach out to, people we're thinking of, and giving strength to them and healing to them as well. As we walk around with the Torah, reach out, we touch it, we connect, and we make it stronger as a community as one. Mishiberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Imotenu Rav Kalei Rachel Hu Yivrech et Cholim. Merciful God, who's blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Becca, Leah, and Rachel. Send your blessings to our loved ones who are stricken with illness, anxiety, friends and family of our congregation. Eliseoto and Mickey Berg, Doreen Billett, Michael Brody, Karen Kasman, Patty Serezny, Philip D'Angelo, Judy Naines Dolson, Sean Dobrinsky, Michael Eisen, Elisheva Batsara, Barbara Esrig, Josephine Franco, Richard Gautreau, Susan Greenberg, Batia Babesha Panina, Ava Haber Cornholm, Ty Hall, Andrew Halo, Hank Heiser, Jane Jacobs, Serafina Coffrin, Sarah Bat Miriam, Karen Coltoneau, Rick Kornspan, Marta Lazar, Glenn Lee, Henry Leopold, Erica Lippman, Libby McIntyre, Zoe Marcus, Joy Marvin, Joyce Maza, Mendel Esha Ben Chava, Teresa Miji, Allison Mertzman, Marlene Miller, Gail Mintz, Lev Herschel Ben Ami, Linda Newman, Rabbi Robert Nozenchuk, Razel Bat Leah Miriam, Leah Elisheva Bat Avram Bachana, Annette Pines, Melanie Pohl, Gary Pollock, Joanne Reed, Marcy Fisher-Reiners, Leslie Ritchie, Steve Richmond, Julie Robinson, the St. Amand family, Rita Seidman, Bernard Sklar, Philip Smith, Roberta Sinino, Jerry Steinberg, Barbara Storm, Leo Tosto, Carly Yench, Connie Wahlberg. All those, of course, battling the coronavirus. 32,455 American troops have been injured in Iraq and the surrounding areas to date. And all the names in our hearts. Baruch atah Adonai Rav Cholim. Blessed are you, God, to give strength to those in need.
bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
The mystics teach us that the Kaddish has different meanings every time it is recited. In their minds, it is a bridge that links earth to heaven and bridges the chasm between the living and the dead. The Kaddish is the assurance that the soul is enduring and the human spirit is indestructible. It is a prayer that permits a child to remember a parent and a parent to remember a child. It is an opportunity to bind wounds and bring generation closer to generation. In light and in darkness, it is all of these and more, for it is our people's memory of the best that life has to offer. So on this Shabbat, we think of those friends and family who have been taken from us in these most recent days, whose Shiva and Shloshim we mark. Stephen Gotro, Darren Hessenthaler, June Gerwin, Bella Rubin, John Scott. We also add to those names those whose Shana we mark, Jan Brody, Zoli Rubin, as well as those Israelis that died in terrorist attacks in Tel Aviv this week, Tomer Morad, Eitam Magini, Barak Lufan, in addition to the 4,586 Americans of our armed forces who have been killed in Iraq and the surrounding areas to date, and all those who have lost their lives in the war in Ukraine. And to their names, we add those whose yard sites are marked, those of whose anniversary of passing we lovingly commemorate. Tody Barnett, Becky Barr, Louis Bershus, Mike Brash, Harry Brown, Minnie Feinberg, Ruth Garber, Zoltan Glantz, Herbert Goldberg, Joseph Gillespie, Natalie Hadesman, Ida Junker, Evelyn Janice Friedman Leonard, Morris Lazar, John Leopold, Joel Lubin, Morris Lynn, Deborah Mursky, Pauline Moses, Andrew Roney, Wendy Schaefer, Yaakov Schwartz, John Scott, Betty Shore Singer, Florence Jovis, along with all the names in our hearts and those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. Do we join together as one family, as one community in the immortal words of the Mourner's Kaddish, as found on page 46 of our prayer books. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma devarach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'vyomachon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach le'olam omei amaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yatadar, v'yataled, v'yatalal, shmei d'kudusha, breichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, huya say shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn. Comfort to all the bereaved among us here and everywhere. As together we say, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. 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 Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
When we as Jews celebrate, we like to do so not just in the privacy of our own homes, but we like to bring that joy into our community so that all of us can feel a part of it. And as we had the opportunity to watch a young woman who grew up here at Temple and find out that she's getting married in about a month, everybody here, also part of this special ceremony, is you get invited to that wedding. Just kidding, Talia and Kirby. You have to fly out there, though. But that we get to celebrate that Talia Goldman and Kirby Cool are going to be getting married in about a month from now, but we get to celebrate with them here at Temple, somewhere where Talia grew up and was home for her as well. And so we invite up Talia and Kirby now for a special aufruf blessing. So we say, Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, our God, God of our ancestors, we thank you for your blessings, but most of all for the gift of love that you have given to Talia and to Kirby. Love is one of the highest experiences that we as human beings can have, simply because it adds dimension and meaning to our lives. Give these, your children, a love that will be nurtured through communication and support. Let them open their lives to each other, that they may grow up together as a couple, while also celebrating each other's uniqueness as individuals.
Talia and Kirby, it's nice to have you on this bima together. For you, Talia, to return here, 16 years after your bat mitzvah, and to stand here now as a young woman, showing to us the man you're going to marry in a month. Kirby, we go way back. And the time you spent on this bima has been remarkable and is special because, obviously, knowing this is important to Talia, you said, of course, that you'd be a part of this blessing, and it should add even more joy into what you create together and the love that you find. Our hope for you is that you are always each other's friends, best friends, that what you share grows through the years, and that what you feel now, decades from now, you're amazed at how much more you understand, appreciate, love, and know one another. That what you experience together in life grows even more. And the adventures that you have as you learn how to work under the same roof in different careers, no matter what you're doing, but in this new world of our remote office places, that you have this balance in life
that is something that you appreciate greatly. That you're able to take a lunch break together in the middle of a day and still accomplish so much, but realize that you have someone to share it with that makes life even more special. To see the world through each other's eyes and learn and grow together even more. That's the sweetness we hope for and that you love and appreciate. With role models before you, people who brought you here this day, your parents, Talia, who so adore you or are so excited for this moment as they talk about it all the time. And so they get to have the nachas in this as well. Tradition is on Shabbat we raise the glass of wine. Tradition is when a bride and groom come to the chuppah, they raise a glass of wine. You share the glass representing that you share everything from this time forward. So as you hold this together now, the cantor leads us in the blessing, and we sing,
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim.
Blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, who creates the joy and the sweetness in life. As together we also say, blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, who's given us life, sustained us, and brought us this awesome moment together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Okay, now we do the voiceover part of this one. So, with that blessing, you should be given goodness and sweetness in life. You should be blessed as this next month is a fun adventure as you prepare for your wedding. But our hope is not just that this month is special, that you appreciate all the moments preparing for that big day, but that every moment you share together is something that fills your lives with blessing. As we see this blessing and sing it again, so you walk off the bima, and once you get much, much closer and we say now, everyone will throw candy at you, representing the sweetness you should find in life. So you turn around now together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Let's take it out. And now we have our helpers, Avi and Jenna, to pick up the candy and get the... Who can get the most? Get them good? Very good. No? Right? So, let's try again. Well, before we conclude our services, a moment of tish when you can ask any question you want about Jewish law or lore or whatever might be on your mind for these last couple minutes before we go to a nice oneg in honor of our bride and groom tonight as well. This is our first calm Shabbat with a nice oneg in a long time, right? It's good to be together in person in this way. Few announcements to share. Of course, Pesach begins next Friday night. Is the first Seder, so there's no services on Friday night, either in person or remote. Saturday morning there'll be services. The congregational Seder is Saturday night. RSVPs were due today, but if you call by Monday or go online over the weekend at RSVP, you can still be a part of our congregational Seder here. It won't be too late if you do it right away by Monday. Is that fair?
Not to the caterer.
Yeah. So,
but yes, we can probably squeeze some people in.
That's right. Other things that are on the horizon, April 24th, in just a couple weeks, we'll have our...
Yes, Mommy's running a marathon.
Yeah, but that's in the morning. Mommy will be done with the marathon in time for... Avi, you being a rabbi now, you just want to come up here and answer the questions? Avi, what's going on April 24th? Okay, so it's the breaking of ground, the beginning of our construction of our addition, on the area where we do Service Under the Stars, and so we want you all to be a part of that. Please RSVP because we have a luncheon that day. It starts at 11:45, some special presentations, some singing, some fun, family activities. It'd be a great day. We're going to have like a sound booth where you can tell your Shir Shalom story, your connection temple that we'll be putting all together into a beautiful little video. And so we're very excited about our groundbreaking and this next year and what it brings as we bring our preschoolers home to temple and our religious school children and other opportunities for us as well.
I wish there were one other thing as well. It's not too late to sign up for our Sunday Passover Road Rally, which is this Sunday at 12:30. It is a competition. You get in a car with some of your friends, and we give you lists of clues, and you need to take pictures of different things all over town. It includes a sack lunch, and there are some prizes at the end, 12:30 to 2:30. If you're interested in that, let me know, and I can tell you a little bit more information about that too, which should be a lot of fun, and it's open to everybody at Temple.
You might even find Moses and Pharaoh somewhere around. And when you said sack, and we'll provide sack lunches, I thought you were going to say provide sacrifices. I was waiting to hear, like, for Passover, we'll be
It's not too late to add that into it.
The Paschal sacrifice will be offered as it's before Pesach. That's the appropriate time. I don't know. New adult ed classes will be beginning. It's the third section of my philosophy class on May 1st, I think it is, that Monday after the groundbreaking. Yeah. Your questions? Yes, Anita. One highlight?
Perfect. I needed a break so I could eat some chocolate.
It was beautiful to be back in Israel. So I would be lying if I didn't say a highlight was being with my son, who I hadn't seen in 18 months. For him to come and jump on board and be part of our group, but just being in Israel, it had been, for me, since the summer of 2019. So we're usually there every year. It was a long time to be away. And Israelis were just excited for tourists to be there. I'll ask Dean the same question. Dean, one highlight. Yeah.
Kayaking on the Dead Sea is one of the things that James shared. She was also there.
We went kayaking on the Dead Sea, the northern part of the Dead Sea, which is a remarkable experience and a different way to enjoy that rather than just float in gross water. So, yeah, a lot of really cool things, though. Right. Yes. We also went to a bunch of beautiful wineries and the first Scotch distillery in Tel Aviv, which was excellent. Yeah, so a lot of great memories, and so thank you for asking. And I'm thrilled you're signed up. A year from now, March 12th through 21st, we're going to Israel, another adult trip. It's a community trip, and there'll be a Shir Shalom bus. We'd love to have people a part of that, so. Well, as you probably talked to your friends, Gary and Stacy, this was unique. I've never done a trip of only 14 people, and it was very special because of that. And it was a unique time to be in Israel, too. To be in Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial Museum, where it was fairly empty, right? Usually we're packed in there. It was a different kind of special, and we sort of treasure that, too. But it's nice to see lots of people in Israel. But we'll still create our own Shir Shalom moments, don't you worry. So, yes? What does chesed, so Flo asked, what does chesed mean? It's in the quote from the prophet Micah on the wall, and in Hebrew. In English, it's translated mercy in our translation there. Rabbi, how would you define chesed?
So that mercy is one of the translations of it. It's like that goodness that one provides, which is why gimilut chasadim are acts of goodness and kindness that we share as well. And that same root word is in there. But it's the idea of being merciful and sharing those things as well. Elohecha.
Your God. Elohim, but with a cha at the end.
So for those that couldn't hear that are watching online, Flo is asking about the quote from Micah that we have up on our wall on this side in Hebrew and in this side in English, and some of the words that are in there and the translation of them as we look at them too. And so it comes from Micah chapter 6, verse 8.
Cha at the end, Elohim. So Elohim has yud in it. It's a conjugated word that's made a plural word into a possessive now. Cha, yours. So. Hebrew is confusing, but it's consistent, unlike English. So as you learn Hebrew, that's not odd. It's actually right. No, it actually makes sense in that way. But so anyway. Well, yes. No, is it traditional when someone's passed away to bury their old prayer books or things like that? So the answer is that anything that's got God's name in it, we do not throw away, we do not burn, we don't destroy. So we bury those things, or we put them in a storehouse like the Geniza, which is basically a crypt for sacred things. So a prayer book could still be used, but it may be worn and not as good. So a talus that's frayed, a kiddush cup, or a kippah. So some things are great to pass along to other family members, but sometimes they're worn, and so we don't. So we show it respect. It's called clay kodesh. It was something that brought holiness into life. And so because of that, we give it that extra respect. So certain cemeteries will allow things to be buried into graves when burials occur. Machpelah will allow that. Some have places where they bury sacred things like that. We have a place in Temple underneath that grandstand back this side of there. If you go around the Yortzeit wall, you see a metal plate in the wall. It's called a Geniza, which existed in ancient times. And so we open it up usually once a year, and we put photocopies of kids' Torah portions from the B'nai Mitzvah, old prayer books that have become, that have fallen apart. People drop things off for us to do too.
And to add just the one traditional thing that would be clay kodesh, a holy object that would be buried with somebody, would be their talus, their talit. And the fringes are cut off, the tzitzit, because the idea is that after you die, you can't fulfill any of the commandments, and that's what those fringes, the tzitzit, were supposed to remind us of as well. But oftentimes, as you see today, like many of our families keep those because the idea of passing that on to the next generation, and it's a nice way of connecting people to ancestors, loved ones, as they pass that down from one generation to the next. And so for somebody that wanted the traditional garb of having a talit, oftentimes there's another one that's replaced.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to hold on to taluses that are still, for a chuppah one day or things like that. You never know what those boys may do. As we conclude our services on the call on the proud mother of the bride, Janice, to help us in lighting our Shabbos candles, we bring light into the world each time we celebrate joy, but we light the candles every Shabbat. And the idea we love with our preschoolers, we give each one of them a Shabbos candle to remind them that every one of us brings more light into the world. So as Cantor sings the blessing, we ask Janice to proudly light these candles for us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We rise together for our concluding prayers.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you. May God protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'choneka.
May
God shine upon you, and may God shine through you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha vayesim lecha shalom.
Always be a part of who we are. Give us all our hopes, all of our blessings. Most of all, blessing us with shalom, with peace in our heart, in our mind, where we help bring more peace into our world.
Vayesim lecha shalom.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos.